Welcome to InfoPro Learning's video on the 70-20-10 framework. Although this is not a new concept, it is definitely emerging as one of the most popular learning frameworks being used today. This framework breaks down the major avenues for which a learner acquires new job skills, and it states that 70% of what we learn comes from on-the-job training, 20% comes from peer or social learning, and just 10% comes from formal learning. To help you understand this framework better, we have broken it down into each individual component, starting with formal learning. Formal learning is what we tend to spend the majority of our time producing and consists of instructor-led training, web-based training, mobile learning, and any other type of training which a learner stops what they're doing to consume. Although we spend the majority of our time in this training, it only accounts for 10% of how an employee learns a new task. So our advice for formal learning is to decrease the duration of formal training to a bare minimum. Considering the minor impact on the learner, it isn't wise to invest the majority of your budget here. Our second piece of advice would be to use formal learning to provide structured learning in a fail-safe environment. Use this time to have learners practice what they would be doing on the job, but without the fear of failure or the possible loss of business from your company. Now let's spend a little time talking about peer learning, which accounts for 20% of how someone learns a new task. That might not seem like a huge number, but considering it is double what formal learning is, it's safe to say it's fairly important. Peer learning is any type of learning which is done through the assistance of someone else. This could be from social learning software, coaching, mentoring, or multiplayer games. For peer learning to be successful, it is important that you create incentives within your company that promotes and awards collaboration. In many companies, it takes years to establish this type of culture, but the investment yields tremendous returns. The second key component of a successful peer learning strategy is that you need to allow social learning to grow organically. We see many companies purchasing social learning software right now and then forcing adoption from their employees. Without fail, these companies end up losing any traction as soon as the stick is taken away. On-the-job training accounts for 70% of how a new task is learned according to this framework. Most of the learning on the job comes from repetitive completion of the same set of tasks over and over again, and by overcoming difficult challenges. Now it's hard for an L&D organization to mimic this, which is unsettling because of how important it is, but there are strategies you can put in place to assist in on-the-job learning. You can provide a structure for immediate and comprehensive feedback after tasks are completed that helps the employee know whether or not they did that the right way. Target is a good example of this, where they apply that principle for their cashiers. Immediately following the checkout of a guest, they're shown a red, yellow, or green screen, which represents how well they performed that job. Another way to assist employees in their on-the-job learning is by creating relevant information, such as job aids, that can be consumed at the moment a challenge arises, also known as just-in-time training. I hope you were able to gain a better understanding of the 70-20-10 model and how you can use it within your own learning programs. If you would like more information, feel free to reach out to us directly. On behalf of InfoPro Learning, thank you for watching our learning video, and we hope that you watch our future posts. Thank you.